say that I've seen these children, they don't let him go to the bathroom without running in there with him. They won't let him out of their sight. So when he jumps in the bed, I'm even out. You know, they jump in the bed with him.
Looking back, do you believe it was true?
I can't say. Honestly, I don't know. And if I had at all thought that that was the case, you know, there's no way I would have supported that.
Did you see anything at all that caused you concern?
No.
Nothing ever?
I mean, concern. The only way I can describe it is that I've met people since that have been around him and sort of caught in his world, and you start thinking things that are not normal are normal. You get caught up in his world and his reality, and I sort of got caught up in that. And now when I look back at that interview, I'm like, wow, there I was, and I don't recognize that person anymore. I'm like, wow, that was me under the influence type thing. And the only thing that sort of put it at rest for me was when I met others that had also been there and got caught up in that.
But you said you had seen him with kids. You had seen him, how they throw themselves on him, get in bed with him.
Yeah, but see, now that's not to be, you know, I saw that with, like, babies, like, even little infants. Like, he had a connection with children. That doesn't necessarily mean just 12-year-old boys or something. You know what I mean? It was like, I saw it with little girls, I saw it with little boys. I just saw that he had a connection with, he had something with children. Not a bad, perverted, weird thing. I didn't pick it up as that. They responded to him, he responded to them.
But you never saw anything with your children that caused you concern?
Never. And I really loved that role, and I loved taking care of him. It was the highest point of my life, one of the very highest points of my life, was when things were going really well, and he and I were united together, and he and I had an understanding about some of the people and things that could go on around him. And he was with me on those things, and we were a unit. And I could take care of him, and in spite of what some people speculated while I was with him, that I wanted a career or that I was trying to do something, was absolute BS. I've never been comfortable being front and center, honestly. Don't like attention on me. Loved
of my family.
Yes.
We have a lot of the same bone structure and a lot of skin color.
Well, Michael does now because he's had it all done. Do you take that as a compliment?
You cannot. I refuse you to insult Michael. He's a friend of mine. I love him, and I don't like people making fun of him.
No, but we
Ok, Clive, c'est le moment de la fermer.
I get real serious when I talk about Michael, and I think we should really kind of look at his life with compassion. He makes incredibly good, I want to say the bad word, good music.
The most gentle, most kind person. He never said a bad word about anybody. I've never seen him upset. Never.
And he is a very, very sweet and nice man. He really is.
So the world wasn't ready for Michael because he had so much love for everything and everybody that he was misunderstood. He was truly, truly misunderstood and very, very unhappy in the last days of his existence.
When did he start?
The real truth is, in this business and this industry and in this world, is no matter how much money you have, as a black entertainer, you are still black. And that's what he realized. He was no matter, and he's the biggest selling artist in the world, but they treated him like he was just another black artist when his records began not to sell. And that pained him. And he went on that campaign of calling Tommy Mottola racist and all of that.
He's not the only one.
And he's not the only one. But he learned later in his, because you're only as good as your last record. And that's what I realized early. You're only as good as whatever hit you have at that moment. Your history, my credentials and what I've accomplished means nothing.
He was so gentle and so kind. And he's not a pedophile. Not at all.
So why do you think he got caught up in that whole pedophile scandal?
Because Michael liked being around children because they were innocent. Even my brother Andre used to hang around Michael. And they didn't want anything from him. They didn't have an agenda. And I think that's why he liked being around children. They just liked to play and have fun. They didn't have an agenda, but most people around him had an agenda. They wanted something. I mean, I would go to Havenhurst and see mothers drop their daughters off to stand at that gate and wait for Michael.
Really?
Yes.
But he was very shy. He was never, ever a child molester. Never, ever. He's innocent. He was misunderstood, just grossly misunderstood, and he was before his time. And people didn't understand because he loved children. Children, they're not painted. They're pure. And that's what he was always constantly looking for, whereas adults always wanted something from him. where children just wanted to have fun and love him.
Do you think it was strange, any of his behavior, like staying over with the kids or anything like that?
I didn't think it was strange.
Yeah.
No, I didn't think anything he did was strange. I think the public and I think people that are around him made it strange, and because he liked that, they made the story. But he's not that. He was the most gentle person, kind.
I don't think that this world was ready for the kind of person he was. You know what I'm saying? He was love. And that's all he knew was love. And that's all. And he loved children because children are innocent. They're not tainted. And they don't judge you. They don't want anything from you. So that's why he felt comfortable being around.
Make fun of us. And I think that when I never wanted to sit at their table. Never. Mm-hmm. I wanted to sing, do my music, and be a great artist and perform to my people. I never wanted to sit at their table.
Word.
Never.
Word.
Michael Jackson is the king, period. Pop,
absolutely.
R&B, whatever. He's the king, period. And that's how I feel.
He was childlike, but in many ways.
And we were kids together. I think that there was an arrested development to a certain extent with him in that way, but we acted like little kids together, and I don't think either one of us in our lives really had the environment to do that safely.
I mean, he's a very soft sort of voice, and he always says, "Oh, Brooke, I'm sorry." I mean, he's always so happy to talk to you, and he wants to know what you're doing, but he's very actually there is no but. There's just a very genuine innocence that he has, that he is protected and sheltered himself from so much that's been maintained.
He has an innocence about him that just enables him to revel in flowers and children and animals, and he's just, I mean, he talks about his work a little bit, but he really just talks about things that make him happy. I mean, we have long discussions just about everything.
So he's quite a regular person then?
He really is, and he's, well, regular in the sense that, not regular in the sense that he's not jaded.
Yeah.
And I find that many people in this business have a tendency, it's easy to become...
When you're in his presence, and I don't mean this tongue-in-cheek at all, is there something eerie about him?
No, it's not eerie in the sense of scary or weird. He's so creative. I mean, he borders on genius. And I think that when you have that much talent, and you are at the same time that sensitive a person, your conversation is going to be different with him. And I think that that's where one might interpret it as eerie. It's not though. And all it takes is a joke or laughing or talking to him or saying, "Look, I'm here too, and you're here."
Do the unfortunate, nasty comments and criticisms about him, do they upset you? Make you angry?
They upset me constantly. I'm constantly upset by what people say. I mean, first of all, so many people really don't know him, and they don't give him a chance, and they're so ready to criticize. And I think what happens is when you see genius, and when you see a talent that is just unstoppable and untouchable, the first reaction people have is to criticize it because it scares them, it threatens them, and in order to augment their own self-worth, they feel that they have to belittle him. And he's a sensitive human being who, all of the negativity really, it does affect him and it hurts him.
He just always wanted to be the absolute best, most superior performer that ever lived.
I don't know what possessed me. I went over to him and I said, "You know what? You never liked me. You never even pretended to like me. I never liked you. You always were mean." And I said, "You know what? You know what I'm going to tell you? I'm going to thank you for your son." I said, because your son changed the world and was my friend.
For future generations. This was in fact the message of his famous inspirational song, Man in the Mirror.
All around the world, joined in a common purpose to remake the planet into a haven of joy and understanding and goodness. No one should have to suffer.
Jackson's Heal the World Foundation joined the aid group AmeriCares last week to airload 47 tons of medical supplies and winter clothing to the war-torn region that was once Yugoslavia. Michael himself turned up at Kennedy Airport in New York to watch the $2 million worth of aid being loaded.
The mission of Heal the World, my mission, is healing, pure and simple. To heal the world, we must start by healing our children. Today,
we come bearing gifts for the children of war-torn Sarajevo. In 1992, Sarajevo has become a symbol of so much that is tragic but avoidable in our world. Prejudice and ethnic hatred, the destruction of the environment, the shattering of families and of centuries-old communities.
Sadly, we live in a state of fear. Every day we hear of war on the news, on the radio, and television. In the newspapers, always of war. We hear of nations hurting each other, of neighbors hurting each other, of families hurting each other, and of children killing each other. We must learn to live and love each other before it's too late. We have to stop. We have to stop the prejudice. We have to stop the hating. We have to stop living in fear of our own neighbors. I would like all of you now to take the hand of the person to the left and to the right of you. Go ahead, right now, I mean it. Don't be shy, do it, 'cause it starts now. To the person next to you, to the left and the right, I mean it, right now. Go ahead, don't be shy, do it. Do it. Now tell the person next to you that you care for them. Tell them that you love them. This is what makes the difference. Together, we can make a change in the world. Together, we can help to stop racism. Together, we can help to stop prejudice. We can help the world live without fear. It is our only hope. And without hope, we are lost.
Michael Jackson's humanitarian work was a reflection of his deep love for humanity. He didn't just entertain the world, he wanted to heal it. Michael donated over $500 million to charities, helping children, disaster victims, and countless others. He visited hospitals, spending time with sick and dying children, offering them comfort and joy. He believed every child deserved love, care, and happiness. But sadly, the media often ignored his kindness. Instead, they made up false stories and created drama just to bring him down. The armband he wore was more than a fashion statement. It was his silent cry for the world to notice the suffering of children. A reminder that their pain should never be forgotten. Let's remember the man who gave so much to the world. Michael Jackson's greatest gift was his love for others. All he ever wanted was to make the world a better place.
I said, there's another one. Real soon, I feel it coming. There's another one. It's another one coming, and I pray it's not me. Please don't let it be me.
And you thought it might be you?
Yes.
What has this done to your career?
What has it done to my career?
What has it done to your career?
In what way?
How has it impacted you? Touring, record sales?
Album's #1 all over the world. All over the world. America's the only one because I don't want to say too much.
But it's not #1 in the United States.
It's conspiracy, yeah. I don't want to say too much. I'm done. I don't want to say much because I'm hurting. I'm really hurting. They did it to try and belittle me, to try to take away my pride. But I went through the whole system with them. They manhandled me very roughly. My shoulder is dislocated, literally. It's hurting me very badly. I'm in pain all the time. See this arm? This is as far as I can reach it. Same with this side over here.
Because of what happened at the police station?
Yeah, at the police station. And what they did to me, if you saw what they did to my arms, it was very bad what they did. It was very swollen, I want to say.
Did you ever, as this young boy said you did you ever
sexually engage, fondle, have sexual contact with this child or any other child?
Never, ever. I could never harm a child or anyone. It's not in my heart. It's not who I am. And it's not what I'm not even interested in that. Throughout my life, I have only tried to help thousands upon thousands of children to live happy lives. It brings tears to my eyes when I see any child who suffers. I am not guilty of these allegations, but if I am guilty of anything, it is of giving all that I have to give to help children all over the world. It is of loving children of all ages and races. It is of gaining sheer joy from seeing children with their innocent and smiling faces. It is of enjoying through them the childhood that I missed myself.
How do you feel when they call you
Wacko Jacko. Where'd that come from? Some English tabloid. I have a heart and I have feelings. I feel that when you do that to me. It's not nice. Don't do it. I'm not a wacko. You should not say he's an animal. Should not say he's Jacko. I'm not a Jacko. I'm Jackson. I am not going to do anything sexual to a child. It's not where my heart is. I will slit my wrist first. I would never do anything like that. That's not Michael Jackson, I'm sorry. That's someone else. The idea just isn't fair, what they put me through, because there wasn't one piece of information that says I did that. In any way, they turned my room upside down, went through all my books, all my videotapes, all my private things, and they found nothing that can say Michael Jackson did this. Nothing.
But let me ask you
to
a
this
couple of
day,
questions.
nothing. Still nothing. At every opportunity, the media has dissected and manipulated these allegations to reach their own conclusions. I ask all of you to wait and hear the truth before you label or condemn me. Don't treat me like a criminal, because I am innocent. I've been living in that kind of life all my life. The tabloid press, that kind of press, not the press, the tabloid, the paparazzi, that type. I've been running for my life like that.
What is a 36-year-old man doing sleeping with a 12-year-old boy, or a series of them?
Right. Okay, when you say boys, it's not just boys, and I've never invited just boys to come in my room. Come on, that's ridiculous. And that's a ridiculous question. But since people want to hear it, the answer, I'll be happy to answer it. I have never invited anyone into my bed, ever. Children love me, I love them. They follow me, they want to be with me. Remember something, just because it's in print doesn't mean it's the gospel. People write negative things because they feel that's what sells. Good news to them doesn't sell. It's people with a dirty mind that think like that. I don't think that way. That's not me. In no way do I think that I am God, but I do try to be God-like in my heart. I am totally innocent of any wrongdoing, and I know these terrible allegations will all be proven false. Again, to my friends and fans, thank you very much for all of your support. Together, we will see this through to the very end. Eventually, the truth will prevail, and I'm about truth, The truth always prevails, and I believe in that. I believe in God. In the last 2 weeks, a large amount of ugly, malicious information has been released into the media about me. Apparently, this information was leaked through transcripts in a grand jury proceeding where neither my lawyers nor I ever appeared. The information is disgusting and false. Years ago, I allowed a family to visit and spend time in Neverland. Neverland is my home. I allowed this family into my home because they told me their son was ill with cancer and needed my help. Through the years, I helped thousands of children who were ill or in distress. These events have caused a nightmare for my family, my children, and me.
It's my very distinct honor to turn the microphone over to Michael Jackson.
Our children are the most beautiful, most sweet, most treasured of our creations. And yet, every minute, at least 28 children die. Today, our children are at risk of being killed by diseases, and by the violence of war, guns, abuse, and neglect. Children have few rights and no one to speak for them. They have no voice in our world. God and nature have blessed me with a voice. Now I want to use it to help children speak for themselves. I have founded the Heal the World Foundation to be the voice of the voiceless, the children. Please join with me and the children to help heal the world together. Parents, communities, governments, all people of the world, we must put our children first. Finally, and most importantly, I want to tell the children of the world, you are all our children. Each one of you is my child, and I love you all. Thank you very much. That story is so crazy. I mean, it's one of those tabloid things. It was completely made up.
Okay, but there you are in something there. There's a picture of you. Where did that come from? How did it get started?
I did a commercial for Pepsi, and I was burned very badly. And we settled for like $1 million, and I gave all the money. We built this place called the Michael Jackson Burn Center, and that's a piece of technology that's used for burn victims, right? So I'm looking at the piece of technology, I'm touching it, feeling it, and decide to just go inside of it just to hammer around. Somebody takes a picture. When they process the picture, the person who processes the picture say, oh, Michael Jackson. He made a copy. These pictures went all over the world with this lie attached to it. It's a complete lie. Why do people buy these papers and it's not the truth? And I'm here to say, you know, do not judge a person. Do not pass judgment on anyone unless you have talked to them one-on-one. I don't care what the story is. Do not judge them because it's a lie.
Yeah, I say a lot of people misunderstand me. That's because they don't know me. I guess that's true. People believe a lot of crazy stories they read.
Yeah.
Some is true, some is not. And
does it hurt when you see those crazy stories?
Sometimes, but it's part of the work, you know.
The wonder, the mystery, and the innocence of a child's heart are the seeds of creativity that will heal the world. I really believe that.
Michael, he would give his last to anybody if they needed it.
When Michael and I used to sit down and watch television, and we used to see the children in Africa, flies around their mouth. You remember that? They were just dying. And he'd sit there with tears streaming down his face. And I would too, both of us sitting there crying like two fools. And he said, Mother, one day I'm going to do something about that. And he said, I know I can't heal the world, but I can help. And he always stuck to that. And he has given millions of dollars to support children.
You've always been Michael Jackson on stage. I guess. Yeah, that's true. It's a hard situation. It is. And it's something I have to put up with. It must be hard to have real friends. Yes.
That's Emmanuel Lewis, one of my best friends.
Your Michael Jackson years.
How did you meet Mike?
I met him on the set of Thriller. He was performing the iconic dance that was right there. The first time I met him, he was a zombie.
So let me ask you this. Did you get an invite to the Thriller video? Did you get an invite?
It wasn't by his invitation. It was some other people. They got it on the internet that he invited me. That's a bald-faced lie. I don't know why people make up lies. But it was one of my boys back at the time, and he's like, he just want to surprise me with something. And you know, it's a work night, it's a school night. So in my mind, HE double hockey sticks, I'm not going anywhere at night. You know what I mean? Because I got to work the next morning. I'm thinking that's a no-fly zone. Ain't anything for me to think about. It ain't ever gonna happen. Mom said, yeah. I'm like, what?
Right.
A school night, a work night? And you got me out tonight? Oh, this is gonna be good. Yeah. This is good. I don't know what it is, but it's gonna be good, right? Clearly she knew what it was, but I didn't know what it was. And so we went and we get out of the car. He had a Jeep, me on his shoulders. I'm riding on his shoulders. He was riding, and I start hearing the music. And I'm like, that's Michael's music, and it's playing it awful loud. So we're in South Central LA somewhere on some dark, forbidden street, and they're shooting the Thriller video. And all I could do was cue back. Dum 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 dum. Dum 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 dum. All right, sound like Michael. All right, what's this all about? Like, I really don't know where I am. I really don't know what's going on. I don't know whether we're in the studio or soundstage or what are we doing, but take it off. And I'm over the crowd. There's a big crowd there. I'm over the crowd, and I'm looking down, and I'm seeing Mike and all the zombies, and they're dancing, and they're coming our way. They're dancing this way. The camera's right there. John Landis is right there, and all the dancers are doing what they're doing. And I'm just thinking, wow, this is dope. What is this? Not ever knowing that it was going to be, you know, what it was going to be, but it's dope enough as it is, face value, that is crazy. What an epic moment to meet somebody in hindsight. At the time, you don't know because nobody knew like that, you know what I mean? And I'm watching him do the infamous, you know, all the iconic movement and everything. And I'm like, wow. So I can see while he's finished the dance sequence, he looks up because I'm like the only person on somebody's shoulders. Like, okay. So I see him go over to his assistant, Sherry. She comes over, says, Michael would like for you to come over to the trailer and he would like to meet you. The Winnebago over there. He's standing in front of it. And I'm like, I'm with Mom and my boys here. Yeah, well, they can come later. My mom is right here and my boys are right there. They were like, no, we just want you right now. And I'm like, no. If my mom can't go, then I don't need to be there. You know what I'm saying? That's just the mentality I've had like all my life. So she went over, talked to them, and of course, he waved them on. She's just being, doing her job, but it was really, of course, no problem. And we came over, and he's like, are you afraid of me? And I just started laughing. I started giggling. I was like, come on, man, you Michael Jackson. You couldn't hurt a fly. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Come on.
Again, I'm from Brooklyn.
You know what I mean? Exactly. I don't know, we good, So, but he's such a nice guy, and he was so cool. He's like, man, I love your show. And he was a fan, and he saw my work, and I'm like, what? Fan me? Like, who knows me? He's like, come to my house. I want you to meet my mom, and my family. And so me and my brother, Chris, was coming to the house to go, check out, his crib, because we always heard that he had some zoo animals and, and I was really afraid of the snake. I came into the kitchen, his mom was there, and I gave her a big hug. Hi, Mom, how you doing? That kind of stuff. And there's music playing, in the speakers in the kitchen. And he was, kind of nice and funky. I'm like, okay, you know what I mean? So I'm kind of tagging around behind Michael because the music is dope. So I had to take a little time to work it out a little bit. You know what I mean? I'm dancing, and but he can't see me because he's moving forward. But the music hits you. You just gotta, work with
with it. You know what I mean? And all of a sudden, in the distance, coming toward me was Janet, and she's dancing too. I guess she already saw that I was, getting ready to, put some time in on that floor, right? And she started dancing, and she started doing what I was doing. She's like, "Oh, I see you can do the snake." I said, "Yeah, I can do the snake." She's like, "Can you take it to the back?" I'm like, "Yeah, I can take it to the back." You know what I mean? And I'm like, "All right, yeah." I'm doing the word, She said, "Oh, can you go backwards?" I said, "Go backwards?" She said, "Yeah, like this." And I'm like, okay, I can, okay. So we're in immediate dance off right then and there, and that's how I'm meeting Janet. Is a dance off. That was pretty much how we met. We met over exchanging dance moves.
Really?
And it was really good.
So did she rip you off then?
No, not at all. Michael did many times, but
Michael
she,
ripped
yeah,
his-
but she
Really?
didn't.
Okay.
But she didn't. Yeah.
What can you do? What would you like me to do?
The moonwalk.
The moonwalk.
This was during Mike's prime, though. This is Thriller. This is
12 Grammy.
Yeah, this is like, and you was there tonight. I think you was at the Grammys tonight. He
On
won.
American Music.
Were you there tonight? He won all the Grammys.
Yeah.
That's crazy. That's crazy. And I remember you going to the award shows with him.
Yes.
And what was that like, getting ready for an award show? MJ in his prime, like.
Dope. It was fun. It wasn't not much to think about. It's funny because one of the times when we were at the Grammys, and he was like, "Okay, hold on to this," and I'm like, "Okay," but it was heavy. I don't think I wore about 55 pounds soaking wet, right? So I'm like, that thing heavy, right? So I just I'm just put it underneath the seat. You know what I mean? That's kind of what we all did at the movie theater. You had popcorn. What you do? You put it under the seat, right? So it's underneath the seat, and we're chilling, whatever. And they're like, "Okay, come on, hurry up, we gotta go." So, okay, we jump up, and we about to leave, and we get in the car. And he's like, "Okay, how many? Okay, this award, blah blah. I'm missing 2 awards. Where's the awards?" They're asking me where his awards are, right? And I'm like, "Oh snap, they in the theater." They in the theater, and the theater's like cleaned out, everybody's gone. These awards probably gone by now, right? But we went back in the theater, and the seat was still was down, so no one saw it. And we lifted up the seat, and there's 2 Grammys right there.
Wow.
Grabbed those puppies and got back into the rows. And we also had some good parties with MJ. Like, we went to different clubs, and of course, everybody wants to see him dance, right? And enjoy. Those are all great moments. I remember meeting his brothers in New York at the Tavern on the Green. And that's where we got a chance to meet his brothers, along with Don King.
Really?
And as well as Sophia Stewart, who is the creator of the Matrix.
Yeah.
And so we was really enjoyed meeting with him, the brothers and sisters. We just kind of embraced their family and our family as one. I'd hang out with Janet. I'd hang out with Jermaine and Tito. We went on the Jackson tour with all those guys.
Did you ever
me and my
date one of
mom.
his sisters?
No. But I did the first time.
Why not? Why didn't you?
LaToya?
Yeah, LaToya.
Because it was like family. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? It was like family. It'd be like incest at that moment. But it was like we embraced him like family. And then over time, we'd hang out different times. And then when he got burnt from the Pepsi commercial, that he went straight to the Sheraton Hotel at the Universal. Everybody was acting strange that day, right? And nobody would tell me. Everybody it was like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "Yeah, why?" Was they just want to figure out if I knew, and if I knew, how I was gonna feel about it. We get home, my mom tells me to sit down. Yeah. Michael's in an accident. Okay, how's he doing? What's going on? What happened? Well, he was burned during the making of this Pepsi commercial. And then a few hours later, I get a call from Bill, a Joker. He over at the Sheraton. Why don't you go see about him? So he went by a different name, so I called the hotel and asked for that particular name. You all right? What happening? I'm like, what the hell are you doing in a hotel? What's going on? I'm just gonna be staying here for a while. Nah, B. We coming to get you. So I called him. He came right downstairs, jumped in the car, and from that moment on, he stayed with me for over a year. He had like 3-degree burns or whatever.
Third degree, right?
Really, it was really bad, and he was on a lot of medication.
So.
Me, my mom, my brothers, we all took him into our house, and so he literally recuperated for months, living in my condo when I went to work every day. And there was a huge, gigantic big screen TV came to our house, and this was kind of around the time of Christmas. Now, Mike was Jehovah's Witness, so he didn't really believe in, doing anything for Christmas. But there was this huge, gigantic TV, and it came to our address, and it didn't have a name on it. So it was like, so we were always getting very, very excited. I mean, it was taller than I was. It was like the first big screen TV you'd ever seen. And so we always get excited. Mike, quit playing. You brought this TV to the house. It's like, no, I didn't bring it to the. We just thought he was just lying. You did bring that big screen TV to the house. No, I don't really know anything about it, right? So it had our address on it. It was like, wait a minute, what do you mean you didn't bring this TV? So it's like, you're messing around. So finally, I guess a week later, they finally realized that somebody else actually made him put the wrong address on this big screen TV at the house, and we were just getting all excited watching it.
You thinking Michael bought you the TV,
so we thought Mike, he's like, no, I don't know what you're talking about. You lying. What are you acting like you don't know? You know you brought that big TV to the house. And so finally they got it back. And then
he bought you one.
And then he actually bought the
Did he really buy one?
I
was just joking. Wow.
Big screen TV to the house, and it was exactly the one that was there. So that was pretty wild.
Yeah.
He lived with us for about a year or more. I don't know exactly. Okay, so that is home footage. That was my home footage taken by my brother Roscoe on our probably brand new camera at the time. You know what I mean? When cameras was like very rarely seen, home camera. That was home footage. That was actually in my house, in my condo. My brother would always take video clips of stuff. And Mike was, he loved, watching us do our different dance segment. We had 2 or 3 different dances that we'd always do, at the house, chilling out. From one dancer to the next, and by far, he's probably one of the greatest dancers. Ask any of the greats, from James Brown to Fred Astaire to whoever. I mean, they all bow down and said that he was the greatest. So I'm gonna yield and say he was the greatest, right? So we would and I was dancing all the time. I danced, right? I tap dance, we street dance. I mean, I did a lot of live performances before I even got to Webster. I mean, that's just what we did. We go learn all the new dance moves. We take it back. Me and Mike would go dance, and we had like a combination that we would do. So it's like on YouTube somewhere, where we would go in and there's certain dance. We had more than one, but we had different dance moves that we would do, and we would come together like, you remember the dance move? No, do you remember the dance move? Okay, so all like different friends or different dancers, we all had our own sets. So we had a routine. When dancers get together, any of your boys get together and y'all can dance, we always had a routine. And so, different music sparked different routine. So this is a routine that I kind of choreographed a little piece of it, and I stole his moves to put in the routine. And of course, I love Thriller very much, so that was some of that ones. That was some of Beat It. It's a routine that Michael and I used to have. He's like, you used to always tease me. I used to say, you remember the routine? Like, I remember. You say, do you remember the routine, right? So we would be like, yeah, I remember the routine. So we'd be like, all right, let's go 5, 6, 7, and we would do this. Let's go this way. Now eat it.
I'll be there. Don't you know, baby? I'll be there. Oh!
And so we did that, and that was our routine. And he used to always remember, like he had a mind like an elephant when it came to routines. He remembered routines for like 15, 20 years ago. Like, I'm like, huh? And so he would be like, you still remember the routine? And they're like such jokesters. They're such, like, if there's a prank somewhere in a 50-mile radius, that's probably going to be you. If there's a water balloon, I don't know how many water balloon fights I've had with them. All the security, the brothers, Mike, I don't know how many pillow fights we've had. I don't know how many pie fights we've ever had, fully closed on. It don't even really matter. Like, it can go down at any given time, at any given moment. Yeah, water balloons. Yo, boom, pow. What the? Oh, no, wait a minute.
He used to drive himself?
Yeah.
Wow.
He used to drive me and my brother or himself or whatever in LA.
Yeah.
As long as nobody knows where we're going.
Y'all in there, right.
You know, it's not like a appointment. If there's an appointment, then yeah, you know, we got to call the boys.
Yeah.
But if there's no appointment and we can, you know, get in and get out, you know, whatever kind of store or gadgets, toys. And I don't mean it like, no, Jekyll and Hyde is usually the good guy, the bad guy. But he's the Jekyll and Hyde where he's the normal guy and then he's the icon.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? With all due respect, there was two Michaels, okay? So there's the big one, the sensational mega star that we got a chance to see and everybody to love. And then there was my big bro, you know, we hanging out, doing that. So it was just that guy where we just, you know, talk. You know, I got two other brothers, so we just had a lot of things in common. You know what I mean? He started off, at 5? Something like that. I started off when I was 9, and you know what I mean? He, you know, does music and he's acting and all of this stuff. I'm doing it too. You know, he's got siblings. I got siblings. You know, mom's rocking it out. And, you know, he loved my mom. I love my mom. He loved his mom. And, you know, it's just a lot of similarities.
Perfect friendship.
It's kind of interesting that people don't realize that, you know, we're still people at the end of the day, and we still have similar things that we enjoy doing. We love comedy. We love going to movies. We love, you know, dancing. Similar upbringing in certain ways. He's from Indiana. I'm from Brooklyn, and, you know, it's really cool.
How is it moving around with somebody where everywhere you go, it's people passing out and shit? Like,
Yo, I'm not even gonna lie, that's dope. That was some of the best comedy in the world to me.
Cause I know he would laugh too, right? Like, he a real one. I know he probably looking like,
You know.
let me see how many I can make pass out today.
He was so sensitive that he would be concerned. I hope they're okay. They're gonna be all right, aren't they? Should we turn around? No, we ain't turning around. You about to get mugged. You about to get all of us mugged.
Brooklyn. They be all right.
They're gonna be all right. They with friends. They with folk. You know what I mean? They ain't by themselves. They're gonna be all right. You keep it moving because you gonna make it worse. Listen, when you're with the king of pop, okay? And you're trying to go anywhere. We've been kicked out of malls. You know, we've been kicked out of movie theaters. We've been kicked out of everywhere. You know what I mean? So it's of no relevance.
But let me ask you, so would MJ wear like a mask or disguise, or he would just go in as MJ?
You know, we always had a good fun time. So he would wear his mask, which was hilarious to me. Or, you know, sometimes they're more elaborate stuff that he would do. So, but he would dress down and he would wear some corduroys but then he'd put on his white socks and penny loafers, and I'm like, yeah, nobody's gonna know who you are. His disguise, okay, was hella funny to me, okay, because he would have a fedora on with the mask on, white socks, and penny loafers. I'm like, yeah, a 5-year-old can call you out on that one. I mean, like, for real, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what kind of mask is that? Like, who walks around in a fedora in the summertime? Like, give me a break, guy. Like, are you serious? Later on, he got more creative with it and got the false teeth and, you know, the different wigs. He had a ton of them. He had old man, he had lady,
He had a young kid. He had a more, like, finally, you know, I guess he spoke to different cats and they was able to hook him up with so many different looks. Fake eyelashes and mustache and, you know, beards. And
But what about when you at the top of your game and Michael Jackson is at the top of his game and y'all out there kicking it and everybody's watching it and going crazy? What was going through your mind at that
you know
time?
what? That's a reality check right then and there, okay?
Yeah.
When you around somebody that is like the huge rock star icon, and, you know, I know I'm doing pretty good. You know, I'm doing what I'm doing.
Right.
And then you, like, it's really fun because, you know, chilling with them and kicking it and whatnot, and it's just like seemingly to be a regular guy.
Right.
Okay, and then he will pop a clutch on your monkey behind. Okay, he pops that clutch.
Yeah.
Opens the window, stops streets.
Yeah.
And it then becomes the icon. And then he closes the window. I'm like, oh, what we eating today? Right? And so it's really like, you know, it's crazy. Can I drive you to McDonald's?
Yeah.
Okay. And what you gonna eat? Well, they got fries. Okay. All right, let's go. Like, I remember coming in and Mike was working on that deal.
Mm-hmm.
He's working on that $1 billion deal of trying to make sure he get the publishings and all of that. You guys know the catalog stuff.
Yeah.
And I came in and he was like, and he's on speakerphone and he's doing all of this. And you know, at the end of the day, it's for legacy. You know what I mean? It's just an awesome experience, you know, to be in the presence of someone that is such a perfectionist, you know, and that his humanity was unseen. I mean, there's so many different aspects of Michael. I mean, there's the shy Michael, there's the religious Michael, there's he's given more to people in the side of the non-profit world than any entertainer in the history of entertainment.
Do you remember the last time you seen him? Both of you guys.
I saw him at rehearsal for the concert.
Yeah.
When I heard that it was called "This Is It," I immediately just was bawling my eyes out because I knew, unlike anybody else, his album titles was prophetic.
Really?
And I knew how much energy that he used to put in just naming an album. And all the concepts and the feeling and what it means. So when I heard "This Is It," I was like, oh no. And he told me that before that album was even done, that, you know, something might go down or whatever. And you know, but it's because you hear it don't mean you accept it. Just because you know it don't mean you ready for it. You know what I mean?
I want to know, how was your friendship with Michael when he started getting all of the allegations against him, and how was he dealing with that at that time? And as a friend, how were you able to kind of help him through it?
You know, he was very upset. You know what I mean? Something that that is like near and dear. You know, performing for the kids. So to see something that he loves so dearly, and you try and turn that against you. It's kind of like you having kids.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden now they're turned against you. And you're being accused of something that you have no there's nothing in your being that will allow you to even think the way that they're even talking. So to have something come against you that you love kids, because he didn't have a childhood. My childhood was a little bit different too. That's why we had so much stuff alike. Because I started off early and he started off, you know, even more earlier. You know what I mean? And so he was probably the biggest adult kid I had ever met. I mean, I can only imagine what it was to meet Walt Disney himself. I mean, this is a grown man playing with Mickey Mouse. Like, everybody acted like Michael was strange. Walt Disney created Donald Duck and Daffy Duck and Mickey Mouse, and He had amusement rides. He had dolls, and he created walking around with ears on his head. I mean, like, so I'm like, if you don't understand where his inspiration comes from, then maybe you would never understand Mike at all. It was horrible, you know what I mean? Because you know this guy is great. You know he's got a heart of gold, and you know that he wouldn't do any of those things that people were talking about.
Martin Bashir documentary, he was pressuring you to try to divulge if anything that happened to you.
Yeah, they're always trying to put words in my mouth for trying make crazy stuff happen.
We always had a great time, laugh, tell jokes. No one really seen that side of him.
They have stayed close for years, and Lewis was quick to defend his friend last year after the airing of Martin Bashir's searing documentary.
None of that, any of that makes any of it the truth. I don't get it, and I don't think I ever will. It's always been a friend, not just of me, but my whole entire family.
We just had the best times. He's always been nothing but a great friend. It was just kind of weird, and I'm like, dude, anything I can help, just let me know when you can come to court. And it's like, I'll ask. And then it was like they wouldn't let any more people come to court on his behalf. Now all the news came out.
Yeah.
So, you know what I mean? Like, the time has gone by that all the information has come out, all the lies that was told, all the money bag grabs is out there now. After he died, a few of those people came forward and said, it never happened. We didn't do anything. We was pressured by parents, by this or that, and they needed money real bad, and they figured that was the way to get at them. And there was people out in the press that actually came clean, but it's a little late. You know what I mean? Thanks a lot. You know what I mean? You put them through hell, and all of that is out there now. And there's still people still believing nonsense, and the truth is finally out. So imagine being accused of something. There's just something, our generation and our people understand. Being accused of something, and how do you even prove you're innocent of something you're completely not guilty of?
Yeah.
Wow.
How do you?
Did you see a change? Yes. Tell me about it. I think he was frightened of being judged again. He said during the trial, I can't believe the world is doing this to me. He said, I gave everything that I had. I gave them my music, I danced for them, and this is what I get in return.
And not since the trial, she says, had she seen such fear in Jackson's eyes.
And when it really got down to standing up in front of an audience, all that fear, all that doubt, all that cruelty that people directed at him, he was afraid. He didn't want to go through that again.
When you looked at Michael Jackson's face at the end, it looked sad.
He was very sad. Before I washed his hair, we actually knelt down on the ground. And he put his arms around me, and I put my arms around him, and he would put his head right here and weep. And we would pray for God to help us and for people to know the truth. And then we'd get up and wipe our tears, and I would wash his hair. Do you think he thought he was going to be convicted, Karen? He didn't know. I mean, it was so vicious. He had to walk the red carpet into that courtroom every day in front of all the cameras.
No one asked you to make Michael Jackson up.
Yeah. Nobody else could have.
How did you do it?
It's an honor to do it. It's an honor to do it. I knew how he wanted to look.
Do you remember where, well, I mean, obviously you must remember where you were when he passed, because, I mean, everybody does.
Yeah, I was driving, gosh, it was 10 years ago, so it must have been in Portland. I was driving around town, and a fellow musician up here, a guy from a band called Animotion, called me up and said, "Did you hear the news?" And I hadn't. So he told me, and at first I didn't believe it because there's nothing but rumors. Most of the stuff you would hear about Michael was just rumors for years and years. And then when I found out it was true, I felt relief for him because of all the ugliness that had happened from the media to him. But I felt deep sadness for his children. And I was invited to the funeral, and it always hits me upside the head. It's so ironic that I couldn't make it because I was obligated to go to England to do some work because of the career that he created for me.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it's something you want to speak about, but have you seen the documentary that came out, or not interested? No interest in seeing?
I have absolutely no interest, and I think that the guys are totally full of shit. And you know, it's these days news comes in headlines, and people see a headline and believe it. And I think it's 100% wrong to take a case like that and give it to Hollywood as opposed to the courtroom. It was a one-sided story. He's not here to defend himself. Those two guys in their late 20s said he was absolutely innocent. And it's not like they were 12 or 13 where their minds could have been manipulated. They were grown-ass men. They knew the truth and they spoke the truth. But now they've got failed careers. They're trying to raise kids and it's super expensive. I saw the filmmaker do a couple of interviews where they go, you know, these guys weren't paid to do this movie. And you're like, yeah, but it's a big promotion for a lawsuit where they're asking for $1.5 billion.
Yeah, exactly.
And there's so many holes in their story that timelines don't add up. The molestation in the train station that wasn't even built when they said it happened. You know, I read one thing that said that one of them said he was molested at the ranch hundreds of times when he was only at the ranch 10 times, and Michael was, of those 10, Michael was only there 4 times. So it's such obvious bullshit. And it's so sad that Hollywood can manipulate minds in that way. And I just start thinking, okay, who's the next person they're going to want to take down? Where the filmmaker is going to make a bundle of money. You know, you get the dramatic film, the dramatic music, the script, or whatever, improvised talking, and it's just super unfair. The sad thing is, with HBO's muscle behind it, it's reaching way more people.
And even Oprah, that was a surprise that she gave them the platform, Oprah, because Michael was always close with Oprah.
Yeah, a lot of people lost respect for Oprah at that point, that she would just take his word for it. And she's coming from having been molested herself, so she's super sensitive and has a chip on her shoulder for that. But to just outright believe him without doing any research was super irresponsible.
They sucked on like leeches. I was so tired of it. They start out the most popular person in the world, make a lot of money, big house, cars, and everything, end up with penniless. It is conspiracy. The Jews do it on purpose.
The more often a person tell a lie, the more times you hear a lie, I mean, you begin to believe it. If it's told often enough, you start to believe it. And it's appalling the things that have been said about me, and they're completely false.
The minute I started breaking the all-time record in record sales, I broke Elvis's records, I broke Beatles' records. The minute it became the all-time best-selling albums in history in the Guinness Book of World Records, overnight they called me a freak, they called me a homosexual, they called me a child molester, they said I tried to bleach my skin, they made everything to turn the public against me. This was all complete conspiracy. You have to know that.
But I must confess it feels good to be thought of as a person, not as a personality. I don't read all the things written about me. I wasn't aware that the world thought I was so weird and bizarre. But when you grow up, as I did, in front of 100 million people since the age of 5, you're automatically different. The last few weeks, I have been cleansing myself, and it's been a rebirth for myself. It's like a cleansing spirit.
I'm tired. I'm really, really tired of the manipulation. I'm tired of how the press is manipulating everything that's been happening in this situation. They do not tell the truth. They're liars.
What is your greatest lesson learned?
Not to trust everybody. Not to trust everybody in the industry. There's a lot of sharks, and record companies steal, they cheat.
There's the Peter Pan's Neverland, there's the Neverland in Michael Jackson's mind, and then there's the physical place that you created up there that I visited you when you brought up all the inner city children. Why did you create that place?
I created Neverland as a home for myself and my children, and it was created simply. It was almost it was done subconsciously. Like I said earlier, where can I go? I mean, it's hard. I've tried to go as myself, and I've had policemen actually tell me, put on a disguise and give me an autograph from my wife or whatever, but they tell me, why are you out here like this with no security? So, and there's like fans everywhere, so I can't do it. I do it sometime, but it's very difficult.
But you owned Neverland before you had the kids. Was it for you, or the exotic animals, were they for Michael Jackson, the child?
Oh, for me.
Yeah.
And for sharing with others.
Spirit?
For me, and sharing with others, because it gave me a chance to do the things I never got to do when I was little. We couldn't go to the movie theaters. We couldn't go to Disneyland. We couldn't do all those fun things. We were on tour. We were working hard, you know, and we enjoyed it. We did enjoy it, but this allowed me to have a place behind the gates where the entire world, everything that I love is there, you know.
You create, like Barry, this imaginary or imaginative world. Do you ever outgrow something like that, Michael? Do you ever, you know, think, oh, this is silly to have the llamas and the little choo-choo train and the ride?
It's calling God silly if you do that.
Tell me.
Because God made all things great and small. So that would be wrong. When other men have their Ferraris, or they have their little, if it's an airplane or a helicopter or whatever they find, wherever they find their bliss. And my bliss is in giving and sharing and having simple, innocent fun. I've traveled the world over 8 times around the world, and I go to I do as many hospitals and orphanages as I do concerts. But of course it's not covered. That's not why I do it for coverage. I do it because it's from my heart. And there are so many children in the cities who've never seen mountains, who haven't been on a carousel, who haven't petted a horse or a llama, who've never seen them. So if I can open my gates, and those gates open, and that bliss, an explosion of screaming and laughter from the children, and they run past the bridge, they run on the rides, I say, thank you, God. I feel I won God's smile of approval, you know, because I'm doing something that brings joy and happiness to other people.